Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Whenever you're joining us or wherever you're joining us from, g'day again. This morning when I was driving to work, I passed an ATM. I've walked up there and there's this old lady and she's having a bit of trouble with the ATM. And she looks at me and goes, "I hope you're not planning on getting any money out of here this morning, sonny." I said, no, love, I'm just trying to get my balance. So she pushed me over. Anyway, today what we're doing is we're working building procedure number one. Number one procedure is aim. Write down what you want and aim to be as clear as you can on what you want to achieve. And how you get to go about there. What this does is it gives you a good point of reference. If you lose your position or you lose your point of aim, it gives you somewhere to come back to and you can start all over. You can come back to any writing down that you've done and you can see what your aim was and where you want to go with it. The other thing to be doing at this stage is collecting as many photos as you can. The more photos that you can collect, the better. What that also does is it helps you see the end product. And it helps you also explain to whoever's giving you a hand designing, either be an architect, a builder, a draftsperson, or whoever, interior designer. It gives them an insight at your taste and where you want to take the build and how you want it to look at the very end of the whole thing. So a few key notes to consider. Number one is how much you have to spend. The budget is critical. Everybody can plan to have as many things into a house as they want, but if it doesn't suit the budget, it doesn't suit the budget. So just make sure you got your budget right first and foremost. From there, we're going to move to where the home is situated. You're not going to build the same home that is in Cairns to that's in Melbourne, or a home that's in the bush compared to a home that's in the city. So take into consideration where the home's situated. How long you plan on living there. This is a big one. If you're going to need to upsize or downsize soon, or if you're going to be living there for 20, 30 years and pass it down to your kids. Really good thing to be taking into consideration. Also helps with the longevity of the plan, the overall plan in designing it. The position of the home on the block, if it's facing north, south, east and west. Really big, critical thing to be taking into consideration depending where you are. Northern winds, southern winds, it all helps with crosshair ventilation and things like that. I'll say it once, I'll say it a million times. Crosshair ventilation is the cheapest form of air conditioning. You cannot beat it. Nice, clean, fresh air is the utmost importance. Not just to you, but to growing minds as well. If you've got kids, really big important factor to bring into it. Is the property an investment property now? Or is it going to be in the future? Is it the family home? So take those into consideration as well. If you want to plan on using the property as an investment property, you don't want to pump heaps of money into the kitchen and things like that because it might get trashed if you get renters in and things. So just take those into consideration as well. You also need to consider what kind of elements you want to bring into it. If you need to have a cellar, a wine cellar, or parking downstairs under the house before you go ahead with anything. If you've got a big garden, if you want to be having vegetables or herbs and spices in your garden, things like that need to be brought into it as well. It'll help out with planning irrigation systems, watering systems, and that kind of stuff as well. So just see what you want to bring into the home. A swimming pool, for example, or maybe a sauna. So write down everything that you can imagine that you're wanting into it. We'll figure out the budget, as we said, and then we can kind of start culling things as we move along. This process is exactly the same whether you're building an 88 square home on the coast, of a bay with an east and west wing, kids quarters, visitors quarters, 3 separate kitchens, indoor lap pool, whatever. Or if you're building a miner's cottage that is completely stuffed on the inside, the plaster's falling off the walls, the electrical doesn't work whatsoever, and you've got cracks so big in the floorboards that any plumber would be proud of it. You need to make sure that you follow that rule. Your aim is critical from where you start to where you want to go, and it will help you out immensely with your end product. So if you've got any questions or queries about that, get back to me. I'll help you out wherever I can. If not, go see your architect, your interior designer, or choose an awesome builder. But that's to come up next, choosing the right person to help you. So stay tuned, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Stay awesome.